Good evening. I'm Jack Penders. Welcome to the May 4th, 2005 regularly scheduled meeting of the Guilford Parks and Recreation Commission. And we're calling the meeting to order at 6:36 p.m. A few introductions, if I might. To my right is Commission Member Judy Sullivan. To Judy's right is Suzanne McDermott, Commission Member. And to Suzanne's right is Claire Kincaid Dunn. And with us in an honorary capacity is her newborn daughter. Not a voting member tonight.
Soon.
And to my left is the Commission Vice Chair Rose Dostert, Commission Member Barbara Pine, Department of Parks and Rec Chair, Department Head Rick Maynard, our Commission Recording Secretary Catherine Stewart, and our woman behind the camera, Shannon Gale. Item 2 on the agenda is our public forum. And this is the opportunity for members of the public, those of you out in the audience tonight, not the viewing audience, but out in the audience tonight, to present your views or comments on any item on the agenda or any item pertaining to the Parks and Recreation Department and Commission. 2 rules. Please give your name and your address, both for the record and for identification purposes, for recording the minutes and for those who probably can't see you from the viewing audience. And secondly, please confine your comments to 3 minutes. With that said, there's no order. Anyone who wishes to speak first may certainly do that.
Sure, I'll start. Hi, my name is Pat Coyne. I live at 71 Denison Drive. My property directly abuts to Peddlers Park. Me and some of my neighbors are here today to learn more information, but and also to express our concern about what we've recently learned, our plans to convert Peddlers Park into a dog park. Peddlers Park is our neighbor, so we're fans of Peddlers Park. We support the reclamation and positive reuse of Peddlers Park. However, we stand firmly against the reuse through means of a dog park. We'd like to get some answers. One of our questions is, how was the need for a dog park in Guilford been established, and how was it empirically quantified? We're not really sure where the need comes from. What were the other candidate sites that were considered? For example, like if you compare Bittner Park to Peddlers Park, what were the criteria that were established, and how did those other candidate sites compare? The siting criteria that I'm mentioning is stuff like, will this brand new park in currently unmanaged land create a public nuisance? Will it create a private nuisance for us? Will it create net new liability for the town? Will it create net new risk for the town? What are the impacts to the environment? It's an old dump, as you all know. It's an old landfill. What's being done to address that aspect of it? It certainly is a wetland, and it certainly is an aquifer. My water comes directly from water that's recharged to this property. What's going to be the cost of development? What's going to be the cost to maintain it? Who's going to maintain it? What group is going to maintain it? And what's the cost of remediation of the site? What's the parking situation, and how does it, what type of fit is it for the desirable reuse of this as a dog park? We believe that the park, across all those criteria, is a very poor fit. I'm probably going to run out of time, but we do believe that it's going to create a public nuisance. It's going to create a private nuisance. Those are real, tangible considerations. There's case law on it being litigated in Connecticut right now. We think the wetlands issue is a very big one. We think the footprint of the property is being slowly expanded year after year from the fill that's being stored there. We think it's being intentionally expanded to cover the waste as it emerges with each freeze and thaw cycle. This is a remote site. This is not, again, we go to all the currently managed parks and enjoy them in town. This is not one of them. This is not opened in the morning and closed at night. The police don't don't patrol it. There's all kinds of issues. We have, some of my neighbors, I've lived here for 3 years, but some of my neighbors have been here when this site was a nuisance to neighbors in the past. And I'm sure they might speak on that. What am I doing on time?
Why don't you sum up? 30 seconds.
Sure.
Thank you.
One question is, what's the process that's being gone through right now? We're learning very quickly, right? We just came into this in the last week or so. So what's the process that's being followed? So for example, we know that a wetland study recently occurred. I know because orange flag showed up in my backyard. So what, is that the first step? Is that the 10th step? How does that relate to, does an environmental study come next? What other town departments or agencies does this go through next? What's the approval process? We're here to learn about all those things. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your comments, and thanks for showing up tonight, Mr. Klein.
Yep.
Good evening. My name is Francis Ryan, and I live at 55 Tennyson Drive. I've lived there for 32 years, and the thing that I'm going to address is when I first moved in, the next door neighbors were the Foley family. And prior to us buying the house or having the house built, that area behind the Foley house and our house was open. And it was a major problem. The problem was that nighttime, kids were going in there, high school kids were going in there, were drinking, they were partying, they were disrupting the neighborhood. The police were there every other night. So a decision was made by the town to close off that area, not allow people to park down below. That's why you have the situation where boulders are set up and chain link fences across. And that was an effort to appease the people on the street, because it was a terrible situation for anyone living as close to the park as a number of us do. So about 10 years later, got a knock on the door from Jim next door, and he said, again, chronologically, I'm not sure if it was 10 years, but it was time down the street that they were petitioning to reopen the area again, the parking, go in there again. So as a group of neighbors, we once again petitioned the town and said, listen, this was proven to be a nightmare. It's, the properties that are adjacent directly to it, it's a noise factor, it's an issue, and the town agreed, and they stopped it. So from a historical point of view, I've lived there 32 years. It's a wonderful street, cul-de-sac, quiet street for families, young families to raise their children. To disrupt that would be an awful decision on the town's part, in my estimation. My children are grown. It probably affects me less in that respect of not having any children. But I can tell you, living there for 32 years, it was a wonderful, wonderful, quiet neighborhood. And I would hate to see that change. Okay?
Thank you, Mr. Ryan.
Good evening. My name is Maria Cahill, and my address is 84 Denison Drive. I'm also here to voice my concerns and let you know that I, as well as all of my neighbors, vehemently oppose this area being developed into a dog park. There are many concerns that my neighbor, Pat Coyne, has already spoken about. I just think that you're really looking at, down the road, at a nuisance litigation. There's currently nuisance litigation with a set of facts, exactly what's happening here. It's Yario versus the town of South Windsor, where the neighbor has abutted property to this dog park they put in. It's been in litigation now currently for 4 years. It's claimed under the theory of a private nuisance and a public nuisance. Also concerns about diminution of property value, which is also a major concern of all of us. We all know that dog parks are noisy, and we are concerned about that. We're concerned about traffic. We're concerned about the location. This is an area, this isn't about, we don't like these kind of trees going in at the beach. This is about, this is my backyard, and you're talking about abutting this dog park right up against my backyard. Liability concerns. Who's going to manage this area? Who's going to have insurance? Is it going to be the town? If a dog gets loose and something happens, who's going to be responsible for that? If the fence isn't installed properly or it breaks down and a child gets cut on it, who's, is it gonna be this volunteer group that is supposedly, got all these names on a petition for this dog park, which, by the way, quickly, we took a look at that petition, and I suggest that you may do the same if you're considering it as a component in going forward with this. Over 50% of the names on that petition are people that don't even live in this country, never mind Guilford. Over 50%. So, we have our own petition, which we just started this weekend, and it's not just Denison Drive. We'll go beyond Denison Drive. We'll go up Peddlers, we'll go through the town of Guilford, but we will do whatever it takes to voice our opposition to this. We think it's a horrible idea, and there must be other areas. If a dog park is something that this town needs so badly, there's got to be areas better suited to put a dog park, and this isn't the area. One more thing before I sit down, I noticed on some of the notes that there was some sort of study done, that it said in the notes $10,000. I'm not sure what the study was for. I'm not sure what the results of the study were, who paid for the study. So I'd like to get those answers if possible. And then obviously the whole wetlands concern, that's another issue that we're also wanting information about. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Adam Gilbert. I live at 178 Denison Drive, and what I would like to talk to you about is the environmental impact that this dog park that we're very much against is likely going to have. I'm actually a PhD medicinal chemist. I've been a scientist for more than 24 years now, and I actually know a lot about environmental impacts of the current site and also what having a dog park back there can do. Currently, the site is very, very clear. It was used as a dump. It is not safe to go back there. It is actually not a very good entrance into the Westwood Trails, which is something that is very special and I love. And it's a teeming sort of area of life back in the Westwood. So I would be interested in seeing remediation of the site, but putting a dog park there has a number of problems. First is that back in that area that currently has garbage are all these vernal pools. Vernal pools are pools of water that actually give birth to life during the spring, whether it's tadpoles, frogs, other creatures that live in the wetlands, they all start life there. If you actually establish a dog park and compromise these vernal pools, that's going to be a huge problem. In fact, Westwood Trails has as one of their laws, you're not allowed to walk a dog without a leash. That is to protect the environment and the vernal pools that are back there. So you're asking to take an area, if this dog park is approved, and actually compromise potential environment for the Westwood Trails, which is something that we truly like. It's a wetlands. I'd like to see the site remediated, but putting a dog park there, especially so close to where we live, where we know what's going on back there, just seems like a very bad decision. I would like to know also what are other sites that have been considered for. It seems that some of the parks that we have here, that's what's done in many towns. Bittner Park would be perfect place to do it. I would like to know how the decision was made, why Peddlers was chosen, because I think it would be a big mistake. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gilbert.
Hi, thank you. I'm Harvey Shuckman. I live at 173 Denison Drive. I have the portion of the petition that we just created yesterday. I wrote it up, walked down the street in 2 hours yesterday. I got signatures from 2/3 of the houses. That's of the 23 or 24, it's kind of difficulty counting some of the driveways, but 16 of the 23 driveways have signed the petition. That's in one short afternoon of collecting signatures. If there's a record, I have a copy for you guys. And that includes 22 individual signatures. I don't want to spend too much time reading points that are already made. Just I actively use Westwoods, go through that trail, and you just have to be a user of that trail to realize how close to the houses you go through by while you walk into the park. It just doesn't seem like a very appropriate place to build out a very popular place for people to be walking through in larger numbers, as well as the open space area where I assume the dog park would actually be built as I said, you have to walk down this trail and then it opens up to it, which leads to some of the public safety concerns that I believe have already been expressed. Who's going to monitor this area? Who's going to see who's in there? Who's going to see that people are leaving at their appropriate time? It's just really not a place that I don't think Guilford Public Safety or anybody else plans to really monitor actively, or what would need to be appropriate for use as a dog park.
Thank you, Dr. Shuckman.
Good evening, my name is Tamara Chiba. I live at 87 Denison Drive, and let's say I recently moved there. It's been just about a year that I moved in with my daughter. And I mean, as you can see from my neighbors, we're all a very friendly neighborhood, very compassionate. We all help each other, always there for each other. There's a lot of children, and I couldn't be any happier seeing my 5-year-old daughter just freely running in the streets, playing with the neighbors, and not being concerned about any safety, any traffic. And I'm a single mom, so it's just been a wonder to land on Denison Drive. And now, that I hear the news, I mean, you can imagine my worry and my concerns, and I would love to work something out and have everybody happy. And most of the questions have already been stated by my neighbors, but it's what is the need of a dog park for the town of Guilford? What is the need of developing the site? Have you conducted any studies, and could we find an alternative solution? And what is Guilford Town's mission to provide a healthy and a happy lifestyle for its residents? Can you consider that for that neighborhood? It's been such a quiet and such a friendly neighborhood. So thank you for listening.
Thank you so much. Are there any other individuals who want to participate in the public forum?
Well, it's all right, I'll just stand here and say I'm Ted Killian at 185 Denison, and my wife and I are concerned mostly about the general issues that have been raised. With so much wonderful parkland in the town, what is a dog park? Why isn't there more light on this subject? Could we be told in advance? What is it that's being proposed precisely? And what are the hours going to be? Will it be attended? Will dogs be on leash, off leash? How much parking? It would help if I had some information, but until then, we are concerned. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Catherine Kieran Morgansky. I'm the one who started the petition online. We just did it for a couple days, and then we got caught up in the Fatigan frenzy. So I actually weeded out all the out-of-the-country
Catherine,
people.
before you go on, your address, please.
I'm sorry, 9 Farmview Lane in Guilford.
Thank you.
In just a couple days, we received 194 overwhelming votes for the petition. There's over 400 people in the Facebook group that are for the dog park, and that really was just with a couple days of pushing. I frequently go out to Clinton to their dog park because I want to have a place for my dog to run freely, safely. Dogs need to run, dogs need a park, dogs need freedom. So I frequent the Clinton Park almost every day. We drive out there. I did take pictures of the Clinton Dog Park, and I'll pass it around. It's right across the street from a neighborhood, and there's a house directly across that just sold. The neighbors weren't concerned at all with the noise. Dog parks, it is a mixed conception, and I don't know if a lot of you have gone to dog parks. They're really not noisy. You might get a little bit of barking when a new dog arrives, but it's the same as a dog barking when someone goes by your yard. It's really not noisy. The woman that lives in this house, which is diagonal, very close, absolutely no buffer, she said she would be willing to come testify here that she never even notices the dogs in the park. The only time she does is when her dog is jumping out the window when he sees his friends over there. And that's how she's alerted that there's people in the park. There's no place in town for dogs to run off leash, and dogs do need that time to get that exercise and be able to run and socialize. And a lot of people that do go to dog parks are very considerate. It's very timely when they're going. A lot of people go either in the morning for their exercise, in the afternoon. It's a social thing. Clinton, maybe the most I've ever had was 14 families there at one time. And it's a quick 20-minute run in the park, and then they leave. But I know now that the Fatigan frenzy is over, we can expand this, putting this petition out for people who aren't even on Facebook as well. And there's a lot of support in town for a dog park. I certainly don't want to ruin anyone's livelihood with it either, but we definitely need a dog park in town. So I'll pass these around if you guys want to see them.
Thank you so much. Any other?
Hi, my name is Joanne Basile. I live at 21 North Reeves Avenue, and I'd like to just talk briefly about my support for a dog park. When I first came to Guilford 8 years ago, actually, I put a contract in on a house on Dennison Avenue. So if I purchased it, I would have been the one neighbor probably who doesn't want the dog park. But I pulled it off because the cost was too big for a single person. I just want to address some of the issues about the concerns. And clearly, as Catherine said, we don't want to have a situation where people are terribly unhappy. It's their home. I understand it's very important to them. And we certainly want to, I mean, if it's the Parks and Rec had made a decision that this was the right place to do it, you wanted to reclaim an existing park, that's fine with us. You know, we looked at other places, and this seemed to be the best fit for the Parks and Rec Commission, and that's good with us, and that's what we certainly want to work with people about. We are working with a professional dog park planner who comes out of upstate New York and was recommended actually by some other dog parks in the state of Connecticut. We certainly know that there is a concern about noise, but as Catherine said, you find it's very rare when you see a large accumulation of people there. It's a very purposeful park. People come, they consider it a passive park. People come, they let their dogs run probably for about 20 minutes or a half an hour, and then they pack up and they leave. It is very rare to see more than 15 people, and that really is on the outside in these kinds of parks. And as Catherine also mentioned, they happen particularly peak times during the day. The parks are mostly adults, not children. There are rules that you need to put in place in dog parks specifically to keep small children away because it's a hazard. But we'd like to work with the community if the Parks Department decides to go forward with this. We certainly, we are looking at an area, we're looking at the area down below, that open area, which is not near the homes. We should talk about screening that path, that walkway area, if that would act as another barrier for any potential sound. We certainly want to work with people, but also, as Catherine said, there are hundreds of dogs in Guilford. There are 2 dog parks in Branford. There's a dog park that they're starting in Madison. There's the dog park in Clinton. They're starting a dog park in North Branford. All of these towns have decided that dogs have become such a part of people's families that they want to be able to find some good, safe environment for them to play in.
Thank you, Ms. Basile.
Hi, my name is Patty Bowen. I live at 184 Stonehouse Lane. And I am here to support the dog park, not necessarily at that site, but that is the only site that we were offered. I do not care for that site because of the mosquito factor, the wetlands, and all the things, but we have been put out and pushed around to the point where there are no other sites that we were given. Vintner would be wonderful. I first voted and said, please let us have a piece of Vintner or times on the trails that we could have dogs off leash. I pay taxes here, I have no children. My children wouldn't play in the street, whether it was a dead end or not, just as my dog wouldn't play in a street, because you cannot have dogs off your private property. It's private property, my property, that's where my dogs go free. But I wouldn't like another place that my dog could go off leash where people in a fenced in area are safe. Their children are at their houses. My dog is in a fenced in dog park that the town is allowing people who have dogs with no children, who I pay for schools, buses, events that we have for all the children all over town, but we have nothing for dogs in this town. And it's about time that we have something, and I would be the first one to say that is not the best spot. It is not. I agree. And if we could find something better, I would jump on the wagon and let's do it. But for right now, that's what we have. And if that's the only thing we have, let's make use of it. And no dogs would be running in your street or in your yard if there is a fenced-in area. When I walk my dog to the dog park, I walk him on a leash to the gate. I open the door, I bring the dog in. The dog is in a fenced-in room just like this. A fenced-in area, just like this room. I wouldn't let my child run on the street, and I wouldn't let my dog run on the street. So I'll say it again, that I pay taxes in this town, and I pay for a lot of things that I do not use because I do not have children. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Bowen.
Hi, my name's Amy Albee, and I'm at 35 Dennison Drive. I'm the second house in at the beginning of the trailhead to the Westwoods. And I also am not opposed to having a dog park, but I am opposed to having one in that area. Many of the reasons were already stated. Where I live and where the people come in just to go to the Westwoods, there is already a problem where people let their dogs off leash, which do run into my yard. I do have a dog, but my dog does not roam freely in my yard, but we do have neighbors that have electric fences where their dogs, because they have paid for their homes and paid for the space of the yard that they have, where they should freely be able to have their dogs run around. And the reality is, in an unsupervised area, people do walk into that trail with their dogs off leash currently, and their dogs do go into our yard, they mess in our yard. When the trailhead is full of parking, they park in front of the ledge by my house. They don't clean up after their dogs, and so to increase the opportunity for that to happen is a concern. Secondly, we have a severe tick problem in that area. We all mow our lawns, and even with a mowed lawn and not having the vernal pool right in our yard, my dog has had Lyme disease 3 times. He's currently now neurologically impaired because of the tick infestation, even with the front line and all the things that you put on your dog. So I would have concern about the health and well-being of any dogs that should be there, as well as the people, because standing, you're at a dog park, you stand, you sit, and even though I'm sure it would be maintained, the concern is that you have an environment that's enriched with parasitic insects. We now have another degree of Lyme, or a tick disease that they are already cropping up in Branford. So I think from a health standpoint, not just for people, but also for their pets. And again, the concern of putting a park on top of a landfill or previous garbage, when it rains a lot, all that garbage seeps back up. And I know that my neighbor Pat had taken photographs to show just after the vernal pools have started to dry out, we get rusted pieces of old metal and things that a dog could get cut on, a person could get cut on. And again, I've been to dog parks, I've lived in cities where there is no place to take your dog. I'm a huge dog lover, but I just think that area back there is a concern not only for safety of families, safety for children, safety for the dogs. And again, as a person who lives right at the beginning of that trail, the increased traffic, and again, who's going to monitor that? Who's going to ensure that it's clean? And what are we going to do about the environment in terms of people's safety?
Thank you. Any other comments? This is not just a forum for the dog park, it's for any other item that's on the agenda. No, I don't want to restrict anyone who might feel overwhelmed by the proponents and the opponents of the dog park, but there may be other people as well, for other issues, other topics.
I have a question about the Little League. I'm not sure if it's on the agenda for later, or if I should bring it up now.
About the snack thing? It's on the agenda.
I haven't had a chance to discuss it.
Yeah.
Should I bring it up then, or not?
Well, it's public forum, probably should hear it.
Okay. Candace Crabtree, I live at 563 Lake Drive. I'm here on behalf of the Little League. We are not opening up the concession stand at the park this year because it's not convenient for parents who are manning it because they can't see their children play, the location of it. And so we were hoping that we could put a soda machine right next to the concession stand so that we don't run the risk of a child being out on the field for 2 hours in the sun without any way to get a water if mom or dad left it at home or it's inadvertently. And we realized that the profits would go to some organization for the blind. The profits would be collected quarterly by Coca-Cola and sent to you. We wouldn't make any money from it, but it would just be a bit of a hydration station for the children, and it could be limited to just waters and vitamin waters and healthy things, or it could be a full soda machine, whatever you would like.
Thank you so much for your comments. We do have a copy of a letter that you sent to Rick Maynard. It's on the agenda. However, we probably won't vote on that tonight. What we'll probably do is table it and get some more information and then come back with a basis for voting on it.
And I brought some information I can leave with you if you like. And we're
That
about
would
to
be
hit the
fine.
hot season, so whatever you can do.
That would be fine. Thank you, Ms. Crabtree.
Okay.
Mr. Coyne?
I just have we're done with the public forum. I have a handout that I leave behind. It's just notes from us speaking.
Oh, that'd be great. Thank you.
And it also includes a list of locations for the 440 Facebook people that signed the other petition, of the 30 countries that they're from.
They have a copy of that, I gave that to them as well.
Good, now they have 2 copies.
Thank you.
And just for clarification, though, when Catherine mentioned 194, that was after we took out the people from Bulgaria.
They must be really.
And I put in big letters, only Guilford signed, but.
But here's the thing, the people who are in the United States and other states other than Connecticut, you can't confirm that whether they're in Connecticut or not.
Everyone knows there's
Just for the sake of decorum, I think if you have a comment, give it to us rather than having debating across the issues, because it's not a debate.
Yeah.
This is an opportunity to give us information so we can form a basis in the future for making a decision on the dog park.
Mr. Sanders, I'm just submitting our petition. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Catherine, you're trying to put us on the international map.
I know.
Well, I think we're going to put on the map Friday afternoon with the concert. Well, if there are not any more comments, I think we'll close out this portion of the agenda. But suffice it to say, our work with the dog park, with the proposed dog park, will go on. And you've given us a lot of information, both from one side or the other, and we'll continue to take a look at that information. You may find out in time that a lot of that information we have been working on or are in the process of developing. But you've also given us some additional ideas as well. So I want to thank you very, very much, and please have a good evening. Thank you. On agenda item 3, correspondence.
But they need to be quiet.
Yeah.
They either need to sit quietly or leave.
Yeah, that's okay.
And it isn't okay. I don't know what I'm
No, they think they're ready to go.
Ms. Crabtree, we have your letter.
Okay.
And- No, we have it.
Oh, this is more from the, I said, is there anything they might ask me that they would want to know? Because I don't really know much, so I didn't have that.
No, that's fine. If we needed info, is this something new?
Yes. That's just more info from over to might help you make your decision.
Okay. Okay. And for the record, we've received some correspondence from Tam Green about a new application for a memorial at Chaffinch Island Park. And Rick, we might want to defer that until
New business.
the new business item.
Yeah.
Again, we just, yeah, it's
Yeah.
the 3-part document. One is and we have another piece of correspondence to Rick and to the town attorney from the chairperson of the Shellfish Commission. And again, we might want to defer that to the unfinished business item on the agenda. It's from TR, and I apologize if he's here and I'm misstating his name, but it's either B-R-Y-S-H, Brish, or Brysh. I apologize to him if I've... Okay,
Why do I not have that?
okay. It's a one-page...
Oh, there it is.
It's a one-page
I
document.
found it, yep.
Item 4 on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the April 6th, 2015 regular meeting. Is there a motion to approve the minutes? Motion
Second.
made, motion seconded.
I'll second.
Any corrections, any comments? Barbara?
Yes, I wasn't at the meeting, so I can't vote on it, but I wasn't absent. I was excused,
Okay.
for the record.
No, that's important. Any other comments? Corrections?
Margaret?
You ready for the vote?
Yeah.
Vote to approve the minutes of April 6, 2015. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Nay? I abstain.
Abstain.
So,
2 abstentions.
3 actually.
Oh, 3 abstentions, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Claire Dunn,
Claire.
Barbara and I were excused.
Okay. Claire was 2.
Agenda item number 5, review and approval of expenditures for April 2015. Nick, you want to give us that report?
You have it, right? I passed them around?
You passed it.
Yes. Yeah, everybody has it, right? So we take a quick look at it. I don't think there's anything outstanding or different here. See under 55200, at the bottom of that, very best carpet cleaning. We do that twice a year. The contract to have the carpet down in the foyer, the main corridor cleaned. That was done. Needed it after this winter that we had. I think that's, other than that, it's kind of normal stuff. The CLP bills. Some of those and some of the water bills are from, you may wonder, why do we didn't have irrigation yet. But we have the irrigation meters pulled every fall because same thing with the electric meters. We have what's called a demand charge. Even if we're not using it, we have to pay something for it. So I have them take them out, but when they put them back in, it's for water meters, I think it's $35 to put it back in. But we save hundreds of dollars by taking them out every year. So that's why there's some. One of them would have been the community center anyway, but the other one is the cost of putting the meters back in those water bills, water meters for irrigation. Other than that, I think the kind of the usual stuff. The Connecticut Southern Connecticut Gas, those are 3 months worth.
I'm just curious, what's the Tilcon charge?
Which one?
The Tilcon charge?
364.
364 under 14455-202. Under paid charges?
John Deere, Page Hardware, Tilcon.
I got new contacts. I'm trying to focus here.
I'm just curious. We get some concrete delivered or something?
Stone. Did you get any stone?
Tilcon, yeah, it was stone, yes. Yeah, crushed stone.
We knew that.
3/4 inch stone.
Rick, how are our expenditures running against budget right now?
We're in pretty good shape. Yeah, we're right about where we should be.
Okay.
And actually lower in some accounts, which normally we are because now we're getting the spring. Like the field account, we've been way low, but now we're doing fertilizer, seed, and all that kind of stuff. So that's going to pick up. But I mean, overall, we're in good shape.
What about how close are you to for hiring for temporary for summertime? How good does that look for you?
For the parks, we have one. We still need to find another one.
Okay.
We have one started 3 weeks ago.
For grounds? Or for
grounds. Yeah. Yeah. We are still looking for one body.
Okay.
I'll move we accept the bills.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor of approving the expenditures for April 2015 in the amount of $80,562.77? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Agenda item number 6, department reports. Rick, if you would.
Oh, I have to ask the question, Rick. Where did you find the chair?
The Adirondack chair. It showed up.
It just showed up?
At Chittenden Park. Somebody, I think, felt guilty about it after using it for 4 or 5 months, brought it back. But they
That's
took
fabulous.
the plaque off. The name plaque was taken off. I mean, we had purchased another one to replace it, in the fall, and put in the, new name plaque on it. But yeah, one of our guys was in Chittenden Park, and it was there.
There it was. Wow,
Yeah.
that's great.
Was it in good shape? Was it like
Yeah, it definitely looked like it was used. It was dirty.
fire pit? It's with yard.
Yeah. But we're thankful that, maybe somebody had a conscience and they brought it back.
Brought it back.
So we
That's
put
great.
word out back in the fall when
That's
it was
great.
taken. And, or somebody else found it someplace and it just showed up at Chittenden Park. It's interesting, it showed up at Chittenden, not at Jacobs.
Yeah, maybe we could offer, a lower cost memorial for the used chair. Someone who, no, I'm actually being serious, someone who wouldn't be able to afford having the full price of a new chair.
That's an idea.
That way we have give someone an opportunity.
That's not a bad idea. Why don't you say that? Why don't you explain it?
For the edification of Claire, who might not have been on board at that time, and the viewing audience, someone stole or took one of the Adirondack chairs at Jacobs Beach. And unfortunately, it was a chair that was dedicated to someone, a departed member of someone's family. And somehow, you did say stolen, so it wasn't misplaced or wasn't borrowed.
It didn't walk over to Chittenden.
Out of respect for the family, I'm glad that it's been recovered.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'll ask you the circumstances under which you got it back, but...
No, but I think the courier would love to see a picture of it and say, we've got it back.
Yeah, you're right.
Because we had a picture of it, we had a whole article when it went missing.
I did call the police department, let them know it was back. Says, oh good, we can close that case.
Thanks to the Good Samaritan or the guilty party. No, the Good Samaritan who returned the Adirondack chair, and that's where you could say it would be available for a memorial at a certain price if someone would like to do that.
Ellen had made a suggestion, I should bring it up, is she suggested, what if we put a plaque for Ralph Shabani on it?
But then I think we should
We'll
have a new chair.
Clean it up.
I mean, Ralph was our chair for a long time.
Yeah. The chair for the chair?
Chair for the chair, a new chair.
We need to do something a little more.
Yeah. And we have another one that another family has purchased, so we have, we'll have 10 now, I think.
Wow.
That's great, because, every time you go down there, those chairs are always in use, so that was a really good idea. People really kind of feel like it's a beach when you have someplace to sit that's comfortable like that.
Rick, I would just like catalog in your head if somebody calls up and they're kind of like, oh, this is so much, maybe kind of put it aside until somebody that really seems like they...
We do get calls periodically. People want to contribute in one way or another, and specifically for the chair, it might have been too much, benches were more. So that's a good idea.
How much was the chair? Just
$450. Yeah.
But it had even greater sentimental value for the family, though.
Sure. Right. Well, we did get another one for them, because we had to replace it and put their plaque on it.
Rick, is there anything else you'd like to highlight, either on your report or the other reports?
I think...
Except to tell us, to sum up and tell us, because it's not on the agenda, to tell us about the event last Friday. Some of us attended, some couldn't because they were otherwise committed.
Right. It was a phenomenal event for the Fradiani family, for Nick Fradiani, his family, and for the town of Guilford. What occurred, not just on the green, but all day in Guilford. He was at Guilford High School doing a rally. He was involved with Parks and Rec stuff a lot. He was on the basketball courts being filmed playing a pickup game of basketball at the police station. After the concert, they went to Chaffinch Island Park to do the filming. He wanted to go there because he and his father wrote some music together there.
Oh, nice.
And that's where he wanted to go. I'm guessing they filmed 6 to 8 hours. It'll probably be 10 minutes on Wednesday night. Everybody watch it. Vote for Nick.
That kid has got to be exhausted after being choreographed. Go here, go there.
He looked tired. It was a long 2 days for him. But we had a lot of involvement with the event. We ran the concert, basically. Our department did. We cleaned up the green. We cleaned up the basketball courts. We started cleaning Jacobs Beach, which needs to get done anyway, because originally he was going to go there, and then they switched to Chaffinch, so we sent the crew over there, get that one ready. And I have to say that I heard from a couple sources that some of the Idol folks were saying this was the nicest, or one of the nicest venues of all the 14 years that they've been filming American Idol on our green.
Oh, really?
And 40 to 50 million people are going to see our town green on Wednesday night to watch that show. So it was a great thing. 10,000 people, by far the largest concert we've ever had. The next biggest, I think, was the Billy Joel tribute band, Big Shot, was about 2,000 people. If you go online, Keith Bishop had a drone, had an aerial photo of the green. It's pretty impressive. Except there was this big donut hole in the middle.
Yeah, well, what is that?
Well, because I think he filmed it before the parade, and so we had reserved area for 300 people from the parade. so they would have a seat when they got there. They were all part of the marches and the parade.
Are you sure they weren't advertising the apple cider donuts,
Yeah.
which they're equally famous for?
Yeah, I think you cut a hole in the middle there. There was a,
There you go.
But even when they came back from the parade, there was still some opening. I would have them be up on the stage doing some stuff, and Brian McGlone, our economic development director, called me and said, "Hey Rick, can we open the ropes and let people in?" So I got a hold of our maintenance guys, which we kept them there, working. They got the ropes down, and people came forward and filled that in. It was absolutely a tremendous event. And I'll tell you, Nick Fradiani Jr., his father too, he's a great guy, very humble. And I have to tell you that one of the things that I hope they have on the idol was that he was so honored by this parade and everything to go in with it. But he said something like, "I'm very honored that you had this parade for me, but the people who really need the parade are our veterans."
And my best friend, Steve Anthony,
Right. Yeah.
couldn't be here.
Right.
And I just thought that was...
It was very classy.
That was key.
Very
Classy,
classy, yeah.
humble. And I have to commend the crew that cleaned up the green afterwards.
Yeah, it was a mess.
Saturday night, when I went to church, it was like Anthony's group did awesome.
Yeah, there were 4 of us doing it and cleaning it up afterwards.
You were too.
I was too, yeah.
Well done, Rick.
Did the department clean it Friday
Goes
night?
to the crew.
Rick, did the department clean it Friday night after the
We
event?
cleaned most of it Friday night. There was, it was getting late.
It was-
And it was a long day, and so the next day was town cleanup day
Right.
anyway. And I had emailed Cindy Cartier, who was in charge of that event, and she had a group to do the green anyway. And so I let her know, we got most of it, but there's some of it over in the St. George Church side of the green. We didn't get to all of it. And just gave her a heads up, there was still a little bit there. But yeah, I mean, other than that, you would hardly know that there were, the grass was matted down a little bit, but you would hardly know that they were there. And it was a phenomenal event, it really was. We had a week to put it together.
It's great.
Aside of the...
You did a good job.
The extraordinary nature of the event, a local kid and focusing, I think what was also extraordinary was you had 7 days,
Right.
7 business days to put the whole thing together. The department, the fire department, the police department, whoever, put it together very quickly.
There was a lot. I mean, Catherine Kiernan, she organized the parade. Marty Carlson was in charge of the entire everything. And she was the contact for the production for people from American Idol. And she was phenomenal. And I mean, that's probably one of the best things that Joe Mazza did, is appoint her to run the thing. And she did a great job. I mean, she was so organized, and she had, different committees doing different things, all put together in a week. And she gets a lot of the credit for making it happen. It was a tremendous day for the town.
The weather held, it was gorgeous.
Yeah.
So Rick, you have to give you and your workers credit for it, because you always do such a phenomenal job with so little. You do so much with so little, so I think everybody appreciates that.
Oh, thank you. Again, it was a team effort, a lot of
Yeah.
different people involved, and it was a good day.
That's good.
Is that it for the report, Rick? Otherwise, we can move on.
I think, unless you have any questions on anything else, but that pretty much the last week is kind of what I did.
Yeah, we thought so.
But meanwhile, the staff here kept everything going, because they knew I was
Yes.
pretty tied up, and they all did a great job keeping things going here, so.
Rick, I just had one question about, because I missed last month and I've been away. Dustin was moved into the program coordinator position that Tracy left vacant?
Correct.
But then he didn't stay?
And now he accepted a job starting today in Southbury.
So how long was he in the program coordinator position?
A few weeks.
Yeah, 3 or 4 weeks maybe.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you still interviewing for?
The applications deadline was last week. I just started going through them today.
So you have
And
2 positions open now, right?
We have 2. And they're actually both identical positions. We made it that way. They're approved that way in the budget. It was a program coordinator, and Dustin was recreation specialist. They were 2 different levels. And so it's one giant job description shared by 2 people, basically. They're going to be identical
And
positions.
what will it be called?
A program coordinator.
Okay.
2 program coordinators.
And will you need our help to do the interviewing?
Yes, yeah. So I've got to go through, I think we have 30 or 40 applications. We need to go through those, kind of weed out who we're going to invite for interviews, and then we'll get that set up. I hope sometime next week. I'm focusing now on that, getting that, because we've got to get those filled. We're down to 2 people.
Right. And the summer is coming.
Right.
And I think Dustin was doing a very nice job.
Yeah.
It's just, the town of Guilford doesn't pay these kids enough to keep them here. So now he's moved on to a better, higher paying job, not better job, but a higher paying job. So I wish we could get people to stay.
For the record, we have tried to petition the town to change the salary levels, and it has been unsuccessful.
We can look at it the other way, though. We prepared Dustin for
Yes, that's what we
new
do.
job. So we are very good at preparing.
Well, we ended up
because we have
having a lot of interns.
a great ship here.
Yeah.
Rick, out of consideration for the folks from Dennison Road, let's move up item 8, unfinished business, B, dog park. Let's consider that now so they can hear the report and then go back to the regular order of the agenda.
So you want a status of where we are right now with it?
Oh, yeah, well, let's move up 8B for consideration now, and then go back to the regular order of the agenda.
You have to make an approval for
Yeah,
changing it?
we'll move to change the order of agenda. First, we have to move to open the agenda. There's a motion to open the agenda.
Now, have we closed the meeting, have we closed the agenda of accepting the reports from the commissioners? We were just discussing it. Have we ended that discussion?
No, we haven't talked about the Ellen's report or the senior report.
Well, okay, well, that's even a stronger reason for moving up the 8B dog park item. So let's move to open the agenda. Can I have a motion to open the agenda?
So moved.
Seconded?
Second.
Okay. Approved? Yeah. Voting yes?
Yes.
Yes. Voting no? Okay. And now let's transfer the 8B indicated as dog park for consideration now. Is there a motion to do that?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Approved?
Approved.
Okay.
Approved.
So for the record, we're considering now agenda item 8, unfinished business, section B, dog park. Catherine. Rick?
I think if I can address some of the questions or comments that the folks from Dennison Drive made. If some of you have, I think one of you had said, I think maybe you left, that lived there for 30-something years, and you may remember that there was a park there at one time. It was it's before my time here, but I was told there was a pickup softball field, a picnic area, so there was a park there, and for maybe whatever reasons, it was closed down. And part of the long-range 5-year capital plan for the last few years the Commission has had submitted to the Board of Selectmen and Board of Finance is reclaiming Peddler's Park for something. We didn't identify what at the time. And so I think historically, it's probably 3 or 4 years ago, Gary Gilbert was still on the Commission at the time. Folks came to the Commission requesting a dog park. We looked at some areas. At the time, the Commission thought that Peddlers made some sense. We were looking at doing something there, didn't know what, again, at that time. I thought about the dog park when the folks came to the group here requesting a place to do it. We know it was a former landfill, but there was a softball field on top of that landfill, years ago. The dirt and everything that's there came from the high school synthetic turf field, or well, when it was the football field. And all the topsoil, if you remember, if you go down the end of the road, there's sort of a long pile that's not there anymore. That was the topsoil that came from the high school project. We've been using that over the last 8 years. The idea was we use that, we screen it, and we use it like on the fields or the different parks. It was a stockpile for it. The other piles are more of the fill that was under, not, I want to say fill, it's not topsoil, it's got rocks and things in it, that came from also from the high school project. So the idea was that if we were going to reclaim that for something, we would use the fill there to level it out and raise it up some. partly because of the issue that it was a landfill at one time, and you know, if there was a chance of metal coming up, whatever, you buried it basically more by having that fill that was there. So that was, again, the long-range plan. Let's bookmark it for something for the future. And again, the people interested in dog park came to the commission and asked for a place that was the place that was kind of looked at as favorably. So what's been done, before we can even do anything, we told the committee, don't any fundraising, because we don't know if it's going to happen. You know, we have to there's a lot of approvals that have to happen before we say, yeah, we're going to do this. So the first thing was we needed a wetland study. That was done in the fall. And then we needed what's called an A2T2 survey, like a boundary survey. And it was recommended to the surveyors, you don't need to do the entire, I can't remember how many acres the whole park is, but the entire Peddler's Park, but just the area where the dog park might go and maybe another 100, 200 feet beyond where the dog park might go. Those are where those flags are, and you folks see. So the dog park wouldn't go like where the flags are, it's just somewhere within that boundary, someplace within 100 feet of that. That was completed, it started, I think in January, then it snowed, and it snowed, and it snowed, it kept snowing. So, they had to wait for the snow to melt. And I think he finished it maybe 2 weeks ago, or maybe 3 weeks ago. I think I got the plan a week or 2 weeks ago. Quite frankly, looked at it for the first time last week, Jack, with you, when we met and talked about it. First time I had really seen it. It was dropped off in my office. There's not a plan has not developed yet, a landscape plan where the dog park would go within that space. It was the wetlands study, the A2T2 survey, and then before we go to planning and zoning, we need wetlands approval, and then planning and zoning would need a sort of a plan of where it would go, what it might look like. So it's really still very much in the beginning stages. I don't know where the $10,000, somebody said $10,000, I don't know where that came. It was not $10,000.
It's in your minutes on the...
10,000 for the, oh, you know, well, it was 9,000, I think. Maybe it was, the committee was looking into the cost of fencing. Maybe that was 10,000 for that, I don't know. But what was spent was $2,500. That was for the surveys. And that's it, nothing else has been spent on it.
And,
okay, I was just trying to answer.
That came out of our budget, right?
Yes.
Yes.
That money came out of our budget?
What seems very clear to me is that we need to put this in writing. We need to have, you know, the questions that were asked should be the answers should be available for people. So we need to be more diligent about putting together a report that includes all these things, what were the questions that were asked, like what were the sites that we looked at. I personally looked at 3 or 4 sites, hiked them and looked. You did, some others did. So, I mean, these questions are helpful because they're really the table of contents for a report we need to make, and get some other information to be able to put it out there to people. It shouldn't be a mystery. We never operate we don't operate in mysterious ways because we're always filmed. Right. So, but maybe we have taken for granted that because we're on television and because we have printed minutes that, because many of our meetings we've gotten to the dog park and there's no news. It's just listed and we just move on. So again, I think we should put together some kind of a report that people can read and follow, and where are we in the process, and be more communicative about this. I think that would, you know.
I think that's a good idea, Barb.
And I think it should also
Perhaps we
include
should
our
walk it
relationship.
Next meeting,
our relationship with the people
Jim.
who are supporters of the dog park. I think that would be important. I mean, we need to incorporate that as well.
That's a great suggestion. Any other comments from commission members? All right, let's return to the agenda. We're on agenda item 6, and we're back to Parks Foreman report, followed by the Recreation Supervisor report and the Seniors Program Coordinator report.
I can just comment on the bike rodeo that was this past Saturday. I stopped there for a while. It was we worked with the Shoreline Greenway Trail about that. it wasn't a large crowd. I think when I was there at that point, they said about 20 kids. But they were very pleased that a number of people, I think maybe 18 or 20, had brought bikes to donate.
Oh,
and I think the bikes were going to be
Nice.
repaired and then sent to, I forget what they said, but like even, I don't know.
Bikes
maybe
for
even-
Kids, that program that fellow Chuck, somebody used to run it.
Yeah.
It's still operating, I
Yeah.
think he's not,
I don't know which program it was, but they were collecting bikes, and quite a few people did bring bikes to.
Grabowitz or something?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I thought he got too old and gave it up. I thought he sold it to somebody else.
Oh, maybe.
I'm not sure, which organization, it was part of the event for the day. I think the Greenway, Sterling Greenway Trail was coordinating. It was a beautiful day. We had our maintenance crew, so we were out doing some work on Saturday anyway. I sent them with our lining machine to make some arrows and things they wanted to have on the sidewalk, on the parking lot there, so we helped them out with that. They were pleased with it. We had a couple staff there helping out, some of our camp staff, and the woman from the Shoreline Greenway Trail who had Kristen, who set up the whole thing. She said that our two staff were great. It was Megan Wallace and, sorry, I forgot the other one. Two good people.
Okay.
Sarah was the other one. So that was a good event. And we have our fishing derby this Saturday.
And are you covered for that?
We are.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you for offering to help. Barbara offered to put the worms on the hook for the kids. And
I know some people didn't want to do that.
Actually, believe it or not, that part wouldn't bother me at all. It's taking the fish off the hook is the bad thing.
And Rick, I apologize. I wasn't able to attend the event on Saturday. I was at a wedding in Old Lyme. Not mine.
But it went well. The fishing derby will go well.
So this is a very busy time for Ellen getting ready for camp.
Yeah.
Busy
time for everybody here,
getting
yeah.
supplies. I mean, it's a huge,
Yes.
responsibility
Very
for her for this time of year with two
Staff
staff
to
people
step
down.
down.
Right. Unfortunately, a lot of that was done. The interviews were pretty much done early on, and the applications and so on for camp. But yeah, and we just told her, and she knows we've got to rely a little more on the aquatics director and the camp director to help out with some of this. We do have an intern that is officially starting in about 2 weeks, but he's been coming on Mondays for about a month now, just to kind of get his feet wet and help
A
us out.
recreation intern?
Yeah.
Yep.
And he has been helpful in setting up a lot of trips for Get Out, Way Out. He's helping Ellen with that. So, but yeah, Ellen's doing a great job keeping things together. And Terry, don't forget, Tracy used to do a lot of
Yes,
special events for the
for
seniors.
Terry.
Terry's doing all that
Terry's
right
doing the
now.
bocce now, yes.
So, yeah, the bocce, so it definitely puts
It's a strain.
some
We need
strain
to
on
move on
everyone.
that.
Yeah,
Yes,
Judy's running the
pickleball,
ball for us,
yeah.
so.
I want that in the record.
Yeah, might have a little Monday, Wednesday,
don't wanna gloss
Friday
over this.
morning. Meet me at Bittner.
Any estimates on or the process, rather, of filling Dustin's position?
We'll go through the applications, and then hopefully narrow them down by this week. Hopefully, we try to get interviews next week.
Mhm.
And so it would be 3 weeks before, really, we could have anybody.
Okay.
But just some of the applications that have gone through, we have some qualified people, so we just need 2 good ones.
I'll help interview.
Okay?
Yeah, I will too. Right.
Seniors program, Rick?
Oh, it's going well.
Okay.
Oh, it is. It's going well.
As usual.
I'm at half the things, so yeah.
Yeah, okay. Item 7 on the agenda, report of staff with the commissions. 7A, Standing Fields Committee, Rick?
Well, we did start taking over the maintenance of the high school baseball field. The issues that had to be addressed as far as the field use were addressed, probably because we helped. The clay, they had to get put back in, we did it. But there were a couple other outstanding issues, but it didn't affect playing on the field. There's still issues with the dugouts and some leaks and so on, but it doesn't affect the playability. So we got the okay to go ahead with that. I did go up for the first game, and for not the whole game, I stayed for an inning. I just wanted to see how if I can just sidetrack for a second. Rick Massetti, he's great. He's so excited about this whole project that when his team came running out on the field, he shouted out, who's that shortstop? First time in history, shortstop on that field. Who's that guy on third base? And he's shouting it out and so excited, you know.
Great.
This is history, you know.
That's great.
He's such an advocate for the kids and so excited. He's a great guy. So anyway, that's underway, and we're working now on, Paul Schmidt is going to be writing up some specs for the drainage project at the Baldwin Fields. We've been talking about that for about a year now. He's going to get those specs written up. And he also wrote up some basic specs for getting quotes for the engineering study of the Upper Cox Fields. That is in our budget, $150,000 to redo those fields, which we hope to do this summer. I'm sorry, we're going to put it off a little bit. We're not going to do it this summer because we're down fields. We're going to wait until we have other fields online. They're offline right now. Anyway, Paul's working on that, doing a great job with that. So the two really big issues right now for the field committee are the Baldwin Drainage Project and getting the engineering study done for Upper Cox.
Good.
Rick, when you did your walkthrough on the fields, were there anything glaring that needed to be addressed immediately?
No, nothing glaring. Actually, the guys generally thought the fields were in pretty good shape, considering the winter that we had. We did shut down the Bittner soccer field. I walked it again today. I think I'm going to try to get it open. We originally said it was going to shut down for the spring. It just got beat up last fall. I think it was played on in some wet conditions, and it's not in the kind of condition we'd like to see that premier field be in. But it's better than it was 3 weeks ago. I think some of the areas are filling in a little bit. We are going to seed it this week. There's an area, a big area, we have to put sod down on the south goal area. That one we couldn't do in the fall. We did the north goal area in the fall. But if you remember, freezing weather came in early in November. And the south end of the field, the ground was frozen. We couldn't cut it. So we cut that a week or so ago, and we're getting sod on Wednesday to sod it. So we need to let that root for about 2 weeks. So I just talked to one of the, even though a week ago I told all the soccer groups, the field's not going to be playable this spring. I think it might be for a few weeks anyway. I think they'll get some games there.
Good. Ready for Soccer Fest, you think?
I think so, June 29th. I think so. But overall, the fields are in pretty good shape, and the sports groups are great about staying off when it's wet. They were itching to get on them. We were 3 weeks behind getting the fields ready this year. And they were itching to get on those fields, and they were very, very good at restraining themselves and not going on until we said they were ready.
All the irrigation systems are up and running?
They're not running yet, but I think this week we're going to start running them. But yes, we got all the water meters, as I said earlier, put back on, and all the backflow preventers our guys installed. So
it's been pretty dry right now, so
yeah, we're going to,
that border's going to be.
We need to start watering them now. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's it for the field committee.
How about the Green Committee? 7B?
I think I addressed it last time, that, we had a Green Committee meeting since our last meeting, that we were looking at doing some organic treatments in the green. We got some quotes for help in doing, when you use organics, you have to treat it 5 times versus the 2 times we've done in the past. And quite frankly, I think the green looks great. It really looks good. I'm not sure we have to do anything very different, but they want us to look at doing something, different approach, organics.
But that's an increased use of manpower too, though, right? Treating it 5 times rather than...
Well, increase the cost, definitely. And we got one quote for the late summer treatment. We sat down with one of the representatives of the Green Committee, Tony did and I did, and we told them there are two periods of time we cannot do it. One of them was like now, which it's passed already anyway. The other one was mid-August to mid-September. We just knew with our load of other tasks that we could not, so those we were looking to contract out. It was a high price. We solicited 3 quotes. We got one. It was $18,000.
Wow.
Which is probably triple what we spend over a course of a year on all of our work on the green. So,
wow.
But only one company quoted it. We didn't get the other ones, and well, one said they don't come this far south. So
how far north are they?
They were. I'm not sure, but they don't come south of Glastonbury. There's one company. So I've sent it to the Green Committee. Said they were going to contact a few other, more local companies, and I forwarded them the spec last week. So I haven't heard anything more yet.
I think you said before that Green is in good shape considering 10,000 people, arguably.
Huh.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it looked matted down, obviously, but before, it looked great. It was beautiful.
It looked gorgeous, I did see it.
And that's why I think the people from the American Idol said this is one of the nicest venues they've seen. I mean, it looked gorgeous. It really looked good. And I should mention, the Board of Ed crew helped us with mulching the trees, because we asked for their help, because we were just tied up with a lot of things, and they had a crew help with that, so we've got to give them recognition for that.
And the existence of the food truck on the west side of the park, or the green, that didn't cause any problems either?
I don't think so, no.
Okay.
I think overall...
Because people were there from, what, 11 in the morning? Till 6:30?
They started about 11,
I was there
yeah.
from 4 to 6:30.
Big crowd didn't really start till maybe around 2:30.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like all of a sudden.
So we know tomorrow night?
Okay.
Right?
Wednesday
Not to
night.
belabor the...
Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday, yeah.
Tomorrow, no, excuse me.
Yeah.
Okay, agenda item 8, unfinished business. An update on the community center security system, Rick?
Yeah, I don't have anything new. I have the quotes. I started comparing them. I've got to meet with Tony.
Rick, we understand that you've been doing a lot of work
Yeah.
for at least the past week or so. We understand that, and with other factors too.
Yeah, so something had to get pushed back a little bit.
Yeah,
That's
we're
one.
only 24 hours in a day.
Well, I don't work that many of them, but I sleep
Good.
sometimes.
You should.
So we don't need B, we already
We're on
discussed.
We're done.
C.
Yeah, so we're on C, proposed ordinance change regarding dogs on...
Yeah, and you have that. This is what Pam Millman had written up.
Yeah.
Here.
Okay, for the Pam to do that. And really, I think what's underlined are some of the changes, and you saw there was a letter from the Shellfish Commission, and they had some questions about regulations and so on. And-
Yep.
But if you remember, I did have a conversation with Dennis Johnson specifically about that.
Yes.
He didn't see that was, he didn't consider that to be an issue, because there's already, if they're worried about dog droppings, which people have to be responsible to pick up, there's waterfowl. I mean, there's geese, and ducks, and that's in the water. So,
And more.
he wasn't overly concerned about that being an issue.
Well, they'll test it anyway.
Yeah.
And so if just like when there's excess amount of water, they test it, or if there's sewage runoff, they test it. They can also test it for the feces in the water.
So the new language is on the second page, subsection D, number 6, and that's the language we ask them to discuss at their, and
Fourth and
incorporate
fifth lines.
into the ordinances of the town.
The 4th and 5th line, Barbara, is that on the beaches?
I think pretty much that whole
The
section.
whole section.
Where it's underlined?
It
Oh, okay.
restates that dogs are prohibited on town beaches, so that, in case there were questions about that. Except that dogs shall be permitted in the following town-owned shorefront areas. Remember, we
Oh, yeah.
made
Not
the
really
distinction
beach. I do.
between a beach, like Jacobs and Quantico.
Swim area, yeah.
Swim area beach.
I do.
In line with what they didn't include all of the, spell out all of the public health code, but the public health code, if you do go back and read it, says it defines what a beach is. And a beach is someplace that has a lifeguard and
Didn't have
Restaurant.
bathroom facilities and a place to
Yeah.
wash.
But it's
And none
clear,
of
it's
those-
referenced, you referenced it
It's
here anyway.
They
So
reference
that-
it, yep,
Yeah.
yep. When is it going to
So
be
would you-
discussed at the
I think you should look for approval from the commission for
Right.
this.
Oh,
And then
okay.
if you
Okay.
approve it,
Oh,
right,
because
then-
it's been changed a little bit.
Yeah, and then it would go
Alright.
to the Board of Selectmen, I guess, from there.
All right.
So how about a motion to approve the draft as amended?
I move that we approve the draft as it's presented in subsection D, number 6.
I'll second
Is there a
it.
second?
Yep.
Any discussion? Those in favor?
Looks good.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained?
Oops. I have to do this one.
So just so we know the process, Rick, whenever you get a breather and things, and you'll send a copy of this to the Board of Selectmen.
Yeah.
Goes to-
Well, I'll get back to Pam
Yep,
Millman,
tell
let
her
her know
we
the
approved it
commission approved
unanimously.
it.
Okay.
Yes.
And then she'll take it to the Board of Selectmen, I guess, and I'm sure there'll be, I don't know if there's a hearing on it, or whenever that meeting is. I'll
Whatever
let
their
you know
process is,
about it.
we'll certainly comply with it and be there.
Yeah.
If you would ask Pam if she'd let you know, that she'll know, because she'll have to be there.
I think we all want to thank Rick and Barbara for being the original drafters
Yes.
of the document. And they saw it through to its fruition, including the extremely important amendment on the second page of the document. Agenda item 7D, the grant transportation update. There may not be an update, but
we
it is fine.
still haven't heard from them. We were told we're going to get it, but we haven't gotten anything in writing yet, so.
Well, that's an update. Yeah,
I'm confident we're going to get it, because it's always been offered to us, but we just haven't seen it yet. But meanwhile, Terry is setting up a meeting with the Greater New Haven Transit District. I think she's trying to get it for this week or next week. We talked about having to sub out a portion of it to them for riders maybe that have to go really early in the morning or hours or beyond.
Or Saturdays, Sundays, yes.
Right. So we don't want to leave those people stranded, so we've got to, but we need to find out what they would charge us, what is the hourly rate.
Yeah. But we'll incur that expense, though.
They need to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Nine, 8E we will do.
What does that mean, we will do?
We haven't done it yet, but we will do it.
They're busy watching the American Idol.
I wish.
Okay.
Moving on to F.
What does it mean?
Remember you wanted to do it?
Yes, yeah, okay.
That's
Would
what
you
I
like
mean.
to do it with me?
Yes.
Okay.
I did it.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
We just haven't gotten to it.
We haven't gotten to it.
It's been a busy
Because
time.
Rose loops back to, Barbara, Rose loops back to when this place was built. She was on the commission as well, so what better, two bookends.
Right, exactly.
I mean that nicely.
I know. The history of it.
And, yes, all important, agenda item 8F.
Right, where is that?
Well, I created a draft. Unfortunately, the draft that I wrote, I have to make some corrections to it because of errors in either spelling or naming. But I can give you the gist of what I've written if you want to. I've actually written a copy for everyone here. I'll pass it out. But
John, we'd love it.
Since I made the original, I was lucky enough to make the original proposal. Rick had said that a written proposal needs to be submitted from us to the other boards for the submission process to proceed. So essentially, it will go like this. Ralph Schepanek Jr. was a unique individual who volunteered significant amounts of time to the town of Guilford with his works on the Parks and Rec Commission and with the town's youth baseball programs. This is my personal note. He was instrumental in encouraging me to participate with Guilford Little League. He recommended to me that I use my prior training and experience as a baseball and softball umpire to help improve the quality of officiating at the youth level. Because of his vast commitments to Guilford Little League, the American Legion baseball program, and as a baseball coach at Guilford High School, I would be honored to recommend to the Parks and Recreation Commission, to the Board of Selectmen, and to the Board of Education that the newly reconstructed baseball field at Guilford High School be named after Ralph Schepanek Jr. Many young men have received influential training and mentoring about baseball and about life after baseball from Mr. Schepanek. This tribute would be the town's way of thanking Mr. Schepanek for his contributions to Guilford baseball and to the other citizens of Guilford who benefited from his leadership as the former chairman of the Parks and Recreation Commission. Respectfully submitted, John Jagelski.
It's a very nice letter, John.
I'm glad you read it into
Very
the record,
nice.
too.
I mean, the part about it was personal for me. That's the reason why I did, because Ralph did make an impression upon me, and that's one of the reasons why I'm still
Well,
here.
that's why you would be recommending it.
That's why I'm recommending it. Absolutely.
Who would know better? Thank you very much.
But
John, I would change one thing,
Sure.
because you can't thank someone who's no longer with us. I would say honoring Ralph. In
Okay.
that last sentence,
Okay.
I think it's great. And
Of honoring Ralph, yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because,
Yeah.
well, you know what I'm saying.
We know.
I know what you're saying.
But I think that we have enough information from what you said, and we know you're going to revise it and fix it up a little bit, that I would move that we accept that statement
This
and
draft.
vote this draft.
Okay.
After you get to work on it a little bit and whatever corrections you feel you need to make. And
What-
I would move that we
Did you send it?
send it to the Board of Selectmen.
Second.
It would be the Board of Education. I clarified that.
Oh, it did, not the
Yeah,
selectmen?
I spoke with Dr. Freeman.
They own the field?
Be the
He
chairman.
said to address it to Chairman Bloss.
Bill
okay.
Bloss.
Oh,
Chairman Bloss.
The Chairman of
The
Board of
school
Education.
committee.
Well, that's the other thing. I do not have an addressee for this as to who should be the primary addressee for the request.
To Chairman of Board of Ed. And
Chairman of
I
Board of
assume we could
Education.
send it to the
William Bloss.
Yeah, what did I say?
You said that. You said
You
Bill.
said Bill.
I think I heard Bill.
I like to tell eyes across.
Chairman Blas.
He lives up on Great Hill Road, right?
He does.
No.
Yeah.
Yes, he does. Unless he
I'm not
moves.
sure, but I don't know, I think if we just get it to the Board of Ed office, I'm sure they can get it.
Yeah,
Do
they'll
we
get
want
it.
a courtesy copy to go to the selectmen?
Probably not a bad idea.
I mean, a courtesy copy.
Yeah.
I think so,
So I would CC that to them then?
Yes.
Right.
Okay, I can do that, that's no problem.
just so they know.
But I believe what he had told me is the naming authority is through the Board of Education because it's on school property.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like the Maturo field, named for Ethel Maturo, and that was approved by the, the Board of Education, not Board of Selectmen.
So we
Right.
get, we have our process when it's one of our fields, like when we named it, the
Ken Mulvey Field.
Yeah, the Ken
Right,
Mulvey
right.
field,
And the deputy field.
but we did have to still go through the Board of Selectmen.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. But this time it's,
Board of
School.
Education.
yeah.
And I think it's particularly fitting you said Ralph Chapani Jr., because he always reminded us of that.
Yes, he did.
So as not to confuse him with other family members.
Right. Is
Absolutely.
his son the third?
Yes.
I believe so,
Yeah,
yeah.
Ralph too, yeah.
Yeah. So, all in favor of that motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Oh,
No, I'm behind. Aye.
oh, okay.
Me too.
That was a 3-second pause.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was having a senior moment.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Item 9, new business, the Little League request. You want to table that?
Because
Because we don't have enough information on that?
she did give us
She
something else.
gave you a whole new information, but my thoughts are, who's gonna protect it from vandalism? Who's gonna fill it and maintain it? I mean,
The
company.
maintained solely by Coca-Cola, filling and money.
but Coca-Cola's gonna be putting Coke in it. It's-
Well, they have like
Well,
Dasani
it's-
and vitamin water and
Yeah,
all
They have
that.
other products.
Yeah. they
It
put
says right in
water.
this letter,
You gave it to
Coke,
you hand it to
Diet,
Oh, okay.
Sprite, Dasani, that's water, Powerade, vitamin water, Monster Energy. Oops, X out Monster Energy. Isn't that like Red Bull?
Yeah,
Well, I,
they're gonna get.
yes.
But we could tell them.
And all the
Yeah.
soda.
Yeah, you can
The
dictate what
umpires-
they
it
put
says you
in
can
there.
do
Softball
just
umpires will do
Dasani
that.
water. Oh, you can opt for just Dasani water, vitamin water, and Powerade if you want to keep it a hydration station.
And that's what she said, she wanted a
Yes.
hydration.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's what she
I,
said.
I think that,
Just as an aside, I mean, those
Yeah.
products will sell, but if the idea is that they're looking for to donate the profits to charity, the majority of the profits will come from soda sales, just from a previous experience. I used to run the snack bar up at Bittner Park, and we sold a lot more carbonated soda beverages than we did the others.
right.
So-
But if we didn't have them, they wouldn't be selling.
That is correct. You know, when they put, the machinery that they have right now is so sophisticated, you can put in anything that you wish, based upon what we dictate as to being the offer. Just the experience that I've done with Guilford Little League at Bittner Park, it is a terrible place to try to sell product.
Yes.
And it's even worse trying to strong-arm parents to man the station
Yeah.
when their kids are playing, and especially when they're so far away from the playing fields. So it would, even though it may not be the most esoteric thing to have there, it actually would be beneficial for the kids to have some place to go. Risk of vandalism, every place is going to have a risk of vandalism to it. I mean, we used to have a water fountain up there, and the water fountain never seemed to stay on the wall very long. But it would be better to have something there for them to have. Now, I don't know what, I'm going to show how old I am, but the Little League field where I grew up, we used to have a well, and we used to have a hand crank pump.
Oh,
So,
John.
I don't know if that's an
Feasible.
acceptable alternate to having a soda machine there, but
Can the money,
the water was cold, always cold, and it was always very good.
can the
so-
money be taken out each night? I just see that as a,
Again, you're gonna have to find people to do that.
Is there,
It isn't. The company that owns the machine and fills the machine will get the money when they get it.
They're
We
managing
would
the
not
whole
have
thing.
any responsibility because
No.
it's on our property
And-
if someone vandalized it or stole the money.
Most of them are credit card too now.
like they have the credit card spot and
Right.
a cash spot, so I mean,
The only expense I could see that would be Park and Rec would be on the Park and Rec electrical meter. Because it'll be, and the amount
We could donate
of
that.
money that they spent to that would be.
Minimal.
In the money, I think she had mentioned, the money has to go to the agency for the blind, because we have a
just
machine.
the profits, not not all the profits, 10%, she said.
10% goes in, or 10% goes to,
Did we all
I think, to the
have
Little
that?
League. I think they get the majority of
No,
it. 'Cause we have a snack machine downstairs here, and we get very little from that. It goes to the agency for the blind.
It doesn't have the
provides a
whole thing.
service more than anything.
Well, I think
Are we
Jack's
prepared?
right, we need more information.
Yeah, I mean.
Who would do it, and
Yeah.
we could set up a list of questions.
Well,
and-
what I'll do is that when I leave here, I'll be going over to Guilford Little League meeting after this.
Oh, okay.
So their meeting, they should be
Right.
right down the hall from here, and they don't start until right about now because the games are over.
Okay.
Just,
So
just-
let's table it until the next
if you want to
meeting.
keep,
if that's-
just think of a timetable, though. If we wait till the June meeting,
Yeah,
It'll
it's
be-
almost
won't be
too
able to
late.
this
And
year.
she actually made mention of it. She said it's just getting hotter, so, you know.
They're done by mid-June.
Is there any harm in trying this?
No.
No.
I mean,
don't
if it
see there's
doesn't
any
work, we
risk
could
to
always
us at
ask
all.
that they be
Right.
removed.
Or
right?
if they don't like it and they aren't selling enough, they'll take their
They'll take
machine
it
and go
out.
elsewhere.
Right, true.
One-
I would really want us to be very clear that it's a hydration kind
Yes.
of place and not have sugary soda drinks, like fruit juice, water, vitamin water. It really is something that, they have a machine down at the marina, and people do use it because, you know, they're walking there, and if you're really thirsty and you've got your water bottle, I mean, you really want to have a place where you can buy water. And it's horrible to think kids are
There is
playing
one
and they
there.
forgot their water and they can't, I mean,
I've driven out of that park many times and gone and picked up water because we forgot water bottles.
And there's no place nearby to go either.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, you got to go down to Krausers.
so I would
So we've got
move that
it.
we,
So I would
that
like
we
to see it.
accept it and try it and
I
and
would
not take
agree.
it.
I would agree with that,
Because the
absolutely.
season
I'll
will be
second
half
that.
over.
Yes.
Yes.
By the time we get to the next meeting in June.
But
We
I
should
want to
have
reinforce what
understanding
Barbara
that we
says. It
monitor
needs
that,
to be a
though. I think we need
hydration
to monitor
station.
that.
Yes. I
Well,
can
could we ask
reinforce
that the Little League give us a
I'm sure they
report?
would.
Well, they can give us,
I mean, not a report, but
they can give us a summary of units sold. I mean,
Yeah. Or
they
any
could ask
problems.
whoever is going to be refilling it, that they give a summary as to what is being sold out of it.
So they'll monitor it, is
They can-
basically.
We'll ask them to monitor it for us.
Right, so we have really, I don't see where we have anything to lose.
It's just like the concessions, we really had nothing to do with concessions here.
That's right.
It was theirs, they got the food, they
That's right.
sold it, they got the profits, and it was part of the Little League event.
You know, as I say, I used to stock it with soda for the years that I was doing it, and it sold. If you don't want to have soda there, we can just put that condition into the machine for them to not have it.
well, you know, there were real big complaints when the library put vending machines up on the second floor, that they put kind of junk food, and, you know, is a town department, when everybody is getting so health conscious, and especially about sugary foods and sugary drinks, why is there something like that on town-owned property? So that would be my concern about it, you know.
Well, the only other question I would ask is that when would you want to have the machine removed? Because quite frankly, during the summertime, you will have softball.
Don't we have a kickball?
Soccer will be there during the fall, and this may be a way for Guilford Little League to do some fundraising on their own, is to have that machine constantly stocked. Because during soccer games that we have up there for the high school, there's nothing there. I mean, the Booster Clubs does not do anything. And I think it would be a suitable place to have some type of refreshments. Because, again, it was originally designed to be
Yes.
a concession stand when it was originally built.
I mean, if it was really a concession stand, they would still be stocking it with soda.
It would be, but I'm pretty sure the reason why it's not there is because of manpower.
Right,
I
right.
mean, there were too many nights I stocked it myself and stayed there by myself with it, so. Volunteerism can only go so far when you're,
Is there a
when you're the only person there selling soda.
Is there a friendly amendment then to my motion about limiting it to a hydration, approving it but limiting to a
I don't think
hydration to
there'll be
add
an
soda?
issue. If you want to add soda to it, that's, I mean.
No,
it's-
I'm asking if you want to add soda.
You know, my personal opinion would be, I think soda would be appropriate.
Yeah.
Appropriate thing to be sold there.
I think it would be better probably to leave it to the discretion of Guilford Little League to figure out, you know, where they want to go with that.
Except for the Powerade.
Yeah, those high, you know, like.
Well, the Monster is what you're looking at.
The Monster, the Monster, yes, the Monster.
Is there a generic name for the?
Powerade is the same as
Monster Energy,
Gatorade.
yeah.
I mean, that's
No
that's
energy.
prohibited.
How about we can say no
Radio.
energy drinks and then,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
no energy drinks, that
So,
works.
so we're modifying the motion to say we would have allow the Little League group to go forward with having a machine that dispenses beverages
Correct.
at the field and limiting it to sodas, water, and
And powered, and.
Gatorade, electrolyte.
Electrolyte.
electrolyte drinks.
Yeah, sports drinks, good.
Right.
Yeah,
And then-
Monster does not qualify as being anything other than just.
Do we
A
want them
monster.
to put a
Monster.
time frame on it? A time frame, so it would be from now to October?
Well, let's let them.
Why don't we let them see?
Let's
if
let them
it's-
see what they would like to do.
If they're still selling, or if stuff is freezing and going, you know.
Oh, they'll take out the machine when nothing else is being sold, the vendor will take the
Right.
machine away.
And they have fall, do they have fall?
Fall
They have fall
Yeah.
baseball up there too.
Well, and we have kickball up there.
Yeah, well, soccer,
Yeah.
yeah.
I second it.
You seconded?
I already did that.
So I'll convey that to them when I head down to
That'd be
them.
great.
So we need to take a vote.
Yep. Rose seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Okay.
Thank you, Jen.
John, we want to maybe have them contact me about where they're going to locate it, so I can meet with somebody up there.
Sure. Do we have any external electrical outlets there? or-
Yeah, that's what I got to check. I can't remember what's up there.
The only thing I remember was just the water tower and the telephone line on the outside. Everything else, I think it
It's got to
may
be
be.
near wherever the power source is, of course, you know, yeah.
Is it telephone line?
There used to be an emergency box up there.
Now everybody has their cell phones.
Yes, an emergency box has become
Should be.
obsolete.
Was it 911? 911?
No, actually, when you picked it up, it went directly to dispatch.
Yeah.
Memorial.
9B.
This is,
They're back.
I definitely
It's a
remember
reapplication.
the rock, I don't remember the compass rose.
Is the compass on the top of the rock?
I think so. I sent her an email just to get
Oh,
clarification
is it?
on that. And there's some wording on the
Not sure.
back, which, I'm sorry that some of this got cut off, but I wrote it down so you know what it is.
And is that going to be on what?
I
On
think,
the rock?
I think on the rock
I
or the
think they want
compass,
to put it
but
on the surface of the
Perfect.
rock,
Okay,
It
I wasn't
says,
sure
if I
about that.
understand it correctly.
This
Okay.
thing on the surface?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think
is
it's quite
it
nice.
chiseled into the stone, or is this going to be on a plaque on the
No,
stone?
apparently it's going to be,
Chiseled?
it says Shelley Brothers will do the sandblasting, installation, and inscription.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it-
Sandblasting, okay.
Maybe-
so-
maybe-
Yeah, but it looks like the compass rose was
It's
cast by
cemented.
bronze,
Yeah.
so it looks, sounds like it was a bronze casting.
My only question, Rick, is the third paragraph. I'm working off the one you sent us earlier, where it says, I've been in touch with Kevin McGee, and I gather that's because he's the tree warden,
Correct.
as well as to request that that he cite a location for the elm tree that we spoke of in 2012.
Right.
Is that an additional request?
Yes,
No.
no, they brought it at the same time.
Same time.
They did? Okay.
Yeah, they did. They had two things they wanted
Yes.
to do to honor the dad, and
Okay.
one was a tree somewhere, but it
Bill.
wasn't clear where that elm tree
Right.
would be, and then the stone at
And stone.
Chaffinch.
Okay, the reason I ask is she titles her a new application, so I didn't know whether the tree was something new.
Well, no.
No, I think
Okay.
she was asking, did she have it?
It just hasn't,
No,
we
that's
hadn't heard
fine.
from her for quite a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Couple of years, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've sort of had mentioned it once or twice about what's happened here, but
Okay.
So we really don't need a motion at this point, don't we?
We've already approved it.
We've already approved it, and we just need Rick to work with her on the final location of the stone, and
It was a work in progress that's been
Yeah.
concluded.
And the tree,
Yeah,
Kevin and
the
I
tree
were
is
talking about
Kevin,
the tree
you're right,
was.
right.
'Cause we did lose some trees from the hurricane anyway, so.
So it's perfect.
Put one back in there. Okay, so if you guys approve it, I'll just email her back and say, let's go.
yeah, let's do it,
Yeah.
because we already did approve it. Should we go walk Peddlers for our park walk?
Yes,
yes.
I think that's
Oh,
a good
yes, I
idea,
had that.
because I've never been there.
Yeah.
I've never been there either, I don't even know where it is, so. That would be
It's
fabulous.
very accessible. You'll find out, okay.
Have a backpack for Maeve, do you?
I do.
All right,
I have
we're
it in
good to
there
go.
already. We can go right now.
We're good to go.
Now, I'm dating myself. Guys, you have to wear your clam diggers, women have to wear your pedal pushers. Remember pedal pushers?
Yes.
They're now capris,
No, I don't.
aren't
They are now capris, aren't
They
they?
were capris.
But there's something else now, Judy.
Oh, it's
So
something
are we going to
else?
set some dates? In the past, we've had to
We'll
have
do
2
it on our,
dates.
and we've done it on our meeting dates.
Hey, the meeting is June 1st.
Yeah.
June 1st?
We've done it just before the meeting.
Yes, that's.
What, 5 o'clock or 4:30?
Can we can't see all the parks, just.
Oh, no.
That was when we were meeting at 7, now you're meeting at 6:30.
Can we do peddlers last, because I'd like to see it, but I don't know if I'll make all the earlier ones.
Because usually we do like the seashore ones first,
We
right?
do the south ones and then we do the north ones.
Yeah.
So peddlers would be considered a south one,
Okay.
I think.
And we need Jacobs.
So start at
So we
Jacobs?
use it Jacobs, and we don't need to go to Daniel Avenue, I'll report. It's looking very good, actually.
Good.
Good. All right, so that's,
So Jacobs,
so we
Chaffinch?
could do Jacobs, Chaffinch, and then just head over to Peddlers.
Chittenden, you want to do Chittenden or not? Or just go to Chittenden?
I meant Chittenden.
Well, we want to spend some, we want to spend some time at Peddlers though.
Yeah.
So where are we going to meet? Jacobs?
Meet at Jacobs.
At what time?
Before the next meeting?
It'll be immediately prior to the meeting, 4:30, 5 o'clock.
I think we want to see
If we
4
meet at
o'clock for-
5, can everybody be here at 4:30? No.
I could
So
be,
why don't
as long as
we,
I'm not scheduled for anything.
why don't we try to start at 5? And that gives us
Yeah.
an hour and a half. And if we're a little late getting back here, then,
Shannon can wait.
We ended at Peddlers, so we're close.
or we could just go back to Jacobs and have a picnic.
We do that too.
Sit in the Adirondack chair.
See, that's what you send a reminder out to everybody.
Right, now, are we not going to go up to the beach and Long Hill? Are we going to just do these this time? I mean,
I don't think we'd have time in that one day.
No, oh, no, we definitely
Yeah, we
don't.
want to spend a lot of time at the Peddlers.
Well, Rick, if there aren't any major issues up there, I mean, has anything changed, like up at Quantico?
No. Nothing's changed there. I mean, dinners, you want to see the
Skate park.
ski park and the paddle,
Pickleball court.
pickleball, sorry.
I think we do that usually in the July, we do that in
Anthony-
July, don't we?
I don't know.
Don't we usually do half of them on the June meeting and half the July meeting?
We usually split it up.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't remember if we do, like, before the meeting, we just pick another date, and whoever can make it, we do it.
It would be really important for us to do the shorefront ones first, in the early part, because if there are things that need to be
Yeah.
done before we open for the
Mhm.
season, it would be important for us to know that and get it done. Well, why don't we see how we do?
Yeah.
And we can always add on, what's our date for our July meeting? I bet it's,
It's the,
It's the second Monday.
it's the second Monday.
The ninth, maybe, or...
13th? 13th.
It is the 13th.
The June one's the 1st?
Yes.
June
It is.
1st. That's 6 weeks between meetings.
Oh, good.
Okay. So we good?
I think we're good. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?